Okay. Yeah. Solid stuff. Don't know if you're going to want that tiny Doom lane, but
Mm.
it just works. Super simple hero. I feel like Ravens could probably loop the draft back around and maybe just simply go for Rubik, and we'll have to see what they decide to go for. And easy. I mean, makes sense. Great Rubik game so far. Got a high level Frostbite to steal, got Ava to steal. Any chance of you getting Doom also cracks the game wide open. So just makes sense. Rubik is a valuable hero. A lot of these teams are going to continue to draft it. If they wanted to keep just the pure flexibility, I was going to say maybe a Snapfire comes through, but they pick up Undying. Love it. I do think Dreamers now, though, should pick up Snapfire, even though it's into the Rubik, counter out the Undying. It's also been proven to be one of the few lanes that is actually able to play versus the Nature's Prophet. And you're paired with the Tiny. That kind of fixes your offline situation in 3 different ways, but I'll have to see how Dreamers decide to draft up. I don't feel like we're going to see the Tidehunter, even though that's kind of been Drakil's calling card. I like it versus Nature's Prophet, but versus Undying, I think that lane could get a little bit too difficult too quickly. But those are the heroes that I think Drakil are going to look for. Those are kind of your prime candidates right now.
Well, Dreamers are thinking it over a little bit, so maybe they are weighing the potential benefits versus the risks of, well, going in Drakil's direction. Because I assume they're not going to want to really pick their potential carry or mid option at this stage. So instead, it will be that Snapfire that you were pointing out. And, well, now if you're Ravens, you can probably take a pretty damn good guess at who's going where, unless they think Dreamers would run Jamari mid Tiny. But at this point, I feel like PP was kind of the one carrying that torch still. And if he's not willing to do it, Dreamers probably won't put Jamari on it.
Yeah, and you got last pick, right? You might as well just be saving your last pick for something, even though there is that incredible degree of flexibility with all of Dreamer's heroes. They can really put any of the Doom Tiny Snapfire in core or support positions, depending on what they want to run here. So it's hard to tell. Feels like Dreamers need a mid laner, just because usually it is Adrian on the Doom, but they could need a safe laner. They could switch things up to try and counter out the Nature's Prophet at the last minute. They could look for a better lane. They could look to more so directly answer PP's hero, regardless or whatever it ends up being for him. But we'll have to see, because really any direction they're going to switch up or go in is going to be reliant on what PP's playing and what they pick up from Ravens. So it's kind of pointless guessing, even though I think bans pretty simple. It's interesting that they decide to ban out Parker's Morphling just because by nature's last game still has the ability to flex it around, but it feels like PP is going to be on that Tusk, and then Park is going to take the Nature's Prophet, so they kind of need an offlaner, but they're really set that this is going to be a Nature's Prophet 3.
They take away Parker's Templar Assassin. Not a bad ban, right? Just take that option out of the equation, but now we see the pick for Ravens. They do go for the Dawnbreaker, and technically speaking, ET, that did not actually answer the question in terms of who's picking up what. Parker maybe doesn't play a position 1 Dawnbreaker compared to, or as frequently compared to some of the other carries in SA, but it is still a move that they could make here.
Yeah, that could be the option. Could be Benjaz Dawnbreaker, and they run the Dawn Rubik lane.
Mm-hmm.
It really is kind of world's their oyster. It could be Tusk off lane, and they decide to run it with the Rubik, and then it's a mid Dawnbreaker versus whatever Dreamers decide to pick up, you know? Everybody plays it. It's one of Raven's favorites heroes for a reason. Of course, in the past, Kara is actually the one that usually would take it up when it doesn't really look like a great Dawnbreaker game or you don't know where it's going, but he's already got his Undying. So it's definitely going to be a core. It just matters who actually ends up playing it, even though I kind of feel like Parker wants NP again, but who knows? And we'll see here from Dreamers what they decide to do, because they're looking at a lineup that could swap up all 3 lanes just as easily as you can. So now Dreamers have to get out of their opponents' heads and more into their own and decide, what do we actually need to win this game? Probably somebody that can push down the towers a little bit, something that neither the Snapfire or the Doom kind of help with. I think doubling down would kind of make the game easier. Honestly, if it was still in the pool, I'd say Leshrac, but that was banned eons ago. But they need a hero like that, somebody who can kind of catapult their advantage into tower pushes or Roshan attempts. And that's not it. That's a lane. That's a laning advantage. But if Ravens really don't like the melee versus co-op situation that Jamari's given to himself, They could even run the Nature's mid. They could run the Rubik mid. There are even more options there available. The Tusk Undying could be the support duo. And let's see. Kara Undying, that's the easy one. Parker NP, Banjo's Dawnbreaker. Okay, we're solid now.
Yeah, PP will take the Tusk, and, well, gonna have to lane against the Queen of Pain, which is almost never fun, but I just don't know. It feels like Jamari is going to have to so exceptionally both hold in his lane and then also make the rotations that really can't afford to miss, right? We talked about that with the Queen of Pain, with the Spirits, with things like the Invoker. You have all of these tools at your disposal, but if you don't actually use them and get those kills, then you don't really catch back up.
Yeah, it's a tough hero. Of course, one made slightly easier by Kara not having any natural silence, by not having any disable. He's just a zombie, but it's gonna be a pretty tough, I think, game for Jamari. Not the Huskar cheese we got to see last time. They had 24 pick and were in a series down a game, but you know, still something to play for and something that PP is going to have to deal with because that lane is not the most fun. I think if Jamari ends up going for the dagger build, you can pretty reliably dodge it with Snowball, but it's something that you have to be consciously aware of. And if you ever see the Snowball committed to nuke out a wave, well, then you're going to eat a dagger for free. So we'll have to see what the skill build choice is for either mid laner. It's also where if the Quap ever gets snowballed, if you get an early point in Blink, you can drag him under tower. There's a lot of counterplay, actually, in this mid lane, almost surprisingly so.
Not going to be all that straightforward once they actually get down to fighting each other. So we'll see how this plays out. Game number 2, Dreamers looking to salvage a point here to maintain a little separation between themselves and the bottom of those standings. Meanwhile, for the Ravens side, an opportunity here, a 2-0, really just kind of catapults them up those same standings and does not make them entirely safe at this point, but it would be pretty damn hard to fall back down if they could take the series straight up.
Yep, you get to tie up yourself with all of the other, not necessarily guaranteed first seeds yet, because we think Thunder Awakens up there, but you put yourself with those front runners, which will make it very difficult for any shenanigans to end up forcing you up or down. You are kind of your controller of your own destiny, but for Ravens, they're the upsetter. They're the one that wants to take you from below, drag you down, maybe not all the way down, but definitely seat themselves up between themselves and that bottom bubble that will get knocked out of this tournament. The Ravens desperately want that safety cushion, even though looking at the runes, a little bit of a battle. A battle that looks like Dreamers, yeah, it's shoved away. Shards, unfortunately, not able to block anybody off, but a dangerous situation. But at the end of the day, it does end up being just a 2-2 split.
Would have been rough if those shards were just a little further back, but kind of surprised Benjas was able to get Starbreaker onto both heroes. Not because they had any means of canceling it, just they were lined up perfectly to both get hit, so a little bit of free damage. Mana cost, not really relevant. Already got most of that up, and now we'll see what they can do in this lane. We always talk about that power spike for the Dawnbreaker, right? You get those levels, and all of a sudden, well, you get in there and you start doing some damage. Maybe not to Adrian on the Doom. Could be a little tough, but 555, if he's out of position or can be forced out of position by Demon, that could be a pretty easy kill for them to hit up on repeatedly.
Yeah. CM's the pretty simple kill. Just need to catch 555. Maybe when he has a lot of mana, though, you don't want the CM to get those easy resets. Otherwise, eventually, Adrian will come up on you, get a kill or a play here or there. But lane to look back on, I think, after a few waves. Just because right now, it's just simple trading, not getting denied on the range creeps. Both sides have a nuke to secure that. So the levels are coming, just not now.
Meanwhile, in the top lane, the creep waves were basically both pulled into the river, so everybody was kind of hanging out there for a little bit. Drakeel took really the brunt of the damage in that scenario, but everybody walks away. The equilibrium kind of sort of resets, or at least their position gets them away from the water line, but very weird stuff. Speaking of weird stuff, up in the top lane, or down in the bottom lane. Wow. That's going to be your kill onto Adrian of all people. I really didn't think that that combo was going to be enough to take down the Doom, and to be fair, it almost wasn't. Multiple heroes low on HP there, but they get the spike, they push in. Adrian wasn't ready. Only really a point up in the Scorched Earth, and Devour doesn't do you much good in that situation.
No, just caught out. Didn't have boots, didn't have his Wraith bands. Just worst situation for Adrian. But very nice kill. Very nicely played. Did get Chain Lightning, so that's going to be kind of problematic, but it's back up top. Didn't even have the toss back, just caught Parker in pretty much the worst way possible, just trying to contest on the wave, but ends up getting taken down in the low ground of the river. Just a very unlikely spot.
Mm-hmm. Let's try to make a break for it. The Cookie was able to stun him up, and then ZXA actually hit level 2 mid-fight. So maybe part of the reason Parker was so out of position at the time when the fight started, the Tiny didn't have Ava, but he does get caught, and that's 2 or 3 times now that the fight in this top lane has shifted wildly outside of the actual lane, so things get weird when you've got treants pulling, when you've got supports sort of drawing aggro, but you gotta follow. They're not willing to give up the farming opportunities, so everything shifts.
No, and this is one of the downsides of picking the same hero twice in a series, and of course, might not feel the ramifications because it is just that best of 2, but you get more comfortable playing versus the Nature's Prophet. You get more comfortable versus those repeat heroes, and then those lanes end up going a little bit better for the team that maybe lost game 1 with, different heroes. They get to pick something different, and then they get that comfort level. As bot, though, magic damage galore, both sides.
Support's traded for now. Benjaz burning a little bit. Chain Lightning's coming back up, but that shouldn't be enough damage, and yeah, at that point, Adrian realizes it, decides to spare himself a little bit of mana cost, and well, he's got control of the lane. It may have been a 1-for-1 trade in terms of the heroes who die, but Benjaz had no HP, so Doom gets a moment or 2 of free farm.
It's very nice. Chain Lightning, very annoying spell, but also getting up there level-wise. And right now, nice play using the tower, a lot of damage, but very nice Frostbite from 555, even though so much damage traded out immediately onto both of the cores. They just healed up a little bit, but then immediately just went into that fight.
Meanwhile, in the middle lane, about as close a call as you can get, Jamari gets hit by the shards, leaves him with about 15 health, but was able to blink himself away, but that means he has to take a trip all the way back to his base, so PP will, for the time being, have control of this middle lane, and 555 caught out in the river. Not really a whole lot he can do at that point, and nothing Adrian can do to help him because he's back in lane farming.
Yeah, just a little bit of passivity from Adrian. Not like the Doom can really help out too much with how far that did drag away, but Benjaz is getting really high level. All of his spells are really starting to do damage. About to have level 3 Celestial Hammer. Just feels like Ravens are getting the XP they want. And especially if you can get Benjaz in early level 6, then any play Dreamers go for might just get blown wide open. You have to be so careful. Even though bottom, again, play. Benjaz looks like he's going to go down, but Parker comes in, and Benjaz, he's not dead. 555. Oh, the body box.
Oh boy. No, 555 already kind of a slow hero. Doesn't really help there as he turned around, got the frostbite out, and that will allow him to live, but Adrian goes down. Kara does end up dying on the other side because, well, his carry kind of abandoned him to go after that kill, but take the trade-off. Opposing carry finished off in exchange for your position 5, and, well, this situation may linger a little bit. Parker hasn't left yet, whereas you've got the Dawnbreaker taking a trip all the way back to base, so not sure if this is a permanent... No, it's not. Lane swap there as Parker is now going to TP back, but while there's no other core in the lane, he might as well stick around and get some extra last hits.
Yeah, it was a nice attempt. It was a kind of sick play as comes top and then immediately gets blasted, but it could be worse. And we'll have to see, because Parker's already going for a different build on the Nature's Prophet. He's trying out the Witchblade instead. At least it looks like he's trying out the Witchblade. We'll see, but I think it's another Robe of the Magi coming on the Courier, so seems pretty committed.
Yep. Interesting play. It does give him maybe a little bit more potential to be involved in the fights a little bit earlier, which, speaking of which, he's TPing bot. Or he was. He's going to fake it out, though, realizing, yeah, that fight's kind of already done. Jamari, though, yeah, he came in, he dropped down the Sonic Wave, so Parker knows there isn't really any backup here. But can they actually catch up? Even with PP coming in, they've got a lot of ground that they had to make up, and they aren't able to do it. Jamari blinks away, 2 kills go into Dreamers, and now Parker's kind of in no man's land. This is
Doom
looking
6.
a little awkward. But they're actually going to try and turn around on a 5-5-5, but that just means Adrian gets in. There's going to be the Doom deployed. PP tries to snowball in, goes for the Walrus Punch, and while he does connect, it's not enough for the kill, and now he's in some trouble. Needs backup. Adrian's just going to keep on chasing. Can he run him down? Yes, he can. And the Rubik did show his face near the fight, but at this point, they really used everything that they've got. But everything that they've got gets them 2 more kills for Crystal Maiden, and in exchange for Crystal Maiden, not CM getting the kills, but Dreamer is really turning it around quickly.
Yeah, now look at Benjez. A little bit of a problem here. He does not want to have to use his ulti to escape, and even then, I don't know if it would work, but he's getting walked down. He just got back to lane, and that is pretty darn awful. I think even the play before with Parker, they just lost track of Adrian's levels. There's no way they push into that knowing that Adrian is level 6, but probably just fogged getting the Doom, and then it led to all of these plays that just ended up working out for him. And Adrian is huge now. He's enormous. He almost has his Midas.
A lot of gold in his pocket. Only a level 1 Devour here as well, so it's not like he just went entirely greedy, but he's got to be feeling pretty good. Got to make sure he doesn't get caught out by this play, though. Benjez and Demon are going to sort of regroup in the lane, but with ZXCA coming over, they're actually going to look to fight. They get the Frostbite follow-up. The Infernal Blade comes through, and it's Benjez who goes down again. Demon, can he get a return kill? He can't, but Parker can. As the Nature's Prophet joins the fight. Snowball now in from PP, but Jamari comes in with the Sonic Wave, so they are looking to take this as the Mortimer Kisses fly overhead. Everything is being committed to this, even a Tombstone very late and very far off, but they're still pushing their way forward. PP trying to get onto ZXCA, will be able to finish the kill, but that means Jamari blinks out. And that one is going to be hard to gauge the full value of ET, just because the fight goes on for so damn long, but from what we can see on the teamfight recap, it looks like Ravens got the better of it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that is 10 heroes involved in this game already. Everybody is just looking to get a part of this early game fighting as Jamari. Middle, that's the setup. So close to getting blink off, but it's not going to work. And now 5-5-5. Oh, getting pushed in on. Might get the trade, but even then, you're keeling up with Luminosity. They're just a little bit too tanky.
Yeah, this is not going to go the way that they want it to. 5-5-5 and ZXCA both picked off. Demon, a sneaky guy, gets in there to grab... Oh, only got the first kill. Excuse me, the second one gets split. Thought he somehow ended up with both, but regardless of who gets it, Ravens respond immediately with another fight that, again, swings in their favor. They're going to get the tower off the back of this too, so... Well, it's not a massive lead, ET, but they are beginning to open up a bit of an advantage, and they've got eyes on Adrian. That snowball goes onto a creep, not a hero. The shards, though, are on point. Can he get off the punch? No, he can't. Drakeel comes in with the cookie, creates a separation. And PP might just be kicking himself there, because if the snowball lands on the correct target, I think they have that kill. They may still find something, though. Drakeel ambushed as he's trying to get back under the tower, and that means they have the numbers to just straight up dive to tier 1.
Oh, and there you go.
Okay.
2 picks. And sure, the glyph refreshes, but I don't think this is a situation the Dreamers want to be in. And they don't want to use glyph, otherwise their tier 2s might be under threat. So this is just another tier 1. Just minute on minute aggression. And ZXCA, he's going to TP it on. They're coming for him.
Just unmitigated aggression out from Ravens. I think the most important aspect there, they're playing so aggressively, ET, but they're not playing out of control. These moves feel calculated, feel like they're just not throwing their faces at their opponents, and that's part of the reason why the exchanges are going their way.
Now they've got to be a little bit more chill here for Dreamers. They got to wait. They need to start a fight where they get a Doom off from the tree line, or they need to peel back and farm, because you are leaning right into Raven's early game timing here. Blink's done on PP, Witchblade's done on Parker. Mech Stun and Benjaz, all these little items have just all come up for Ravens. It's where the smoke has to be so precise and so quick. Otherwise, the Dawnbreaker ult comes through. Solar Guardian's going to be there. If he lands, he's going to pop the mech, and here we go. Is it going to be enough time?
PP, oh my god, PP actually stops for the punch, which means he didn't get the defensive snowball off. So he does die, and Parker got doomed on the back line here. But they're still doing a lot of damage. Even with Parker going down, they're able to find a kill or two. The problem is they can't sustain the effort. Kara gets locked down and finished off, and I can't help but go back to that. The Walrus Punch instead of the snowball. Maybe he still dies if the snowball gets off anyway, but it at least delays that, and without it, the whole fight just kind of goes sideways for Ravens.
Yeah. In addition to that, Sonic Wave just hitting, I think, too many heroes, as he does TP mid and punches Jamari, which is, I don't know, kind of weird. But more importantly, I think Parker.
He's stunned. This is very bad for him. He is not going to get taken down immediately, but they're committing a lot here.
Man.
And now you have to get something, but where can they really go?
Gotta be a little bit chill. Ravens know that Doom doesn't want to be in this fight because he doesn't have Doom, but that's really the difference maker. Letting the Doom get on top of Parker. Parker just lost track of him as, again, and one more hit. Okay, Jamari, agreed, punish, and now Demon, he's here, but he hurts. He's got Stolen Scatterblast, and you and Adrian.
No, the cookie forces Adrian into the fight. And Demon did drop low, but they're able to heal him up with the mech, and all of a sudden, Adrian's just out in the open. No one follows up to protect the carry. And ZXA is not even going to make it out either. Blink forward into Walrus Punch is going to lock him down, and well, BT, you said it 2 or 3 times, but Dreamers were not listening. They have got to just chill out, take a step back, because they're getting absolutely baited into these fights.
Yeah, they thought they could take that second bout, and really, it looked like they could for a while, but they lose Jamari for free. They don't have kisses. This time, Ravens get the tombstone down. Just of small factors, but factors that allowed them to win that fight and then gave them that false confidence that led them into what was a very throwy engagement. Now, the next time you fight, Adrian's going to have a BKB and a Doom, but you still can't afford for things to go that messy. It's just unfortunate because they were set up to kind of take this game back after falling a little bit behind with how well Benjaz's lane went, but things are not feeling too great. That's why they're going for a smoke. They're trying to get a little bit of revenge here and getting ZXCA involved because we're still a ways away from that Blink Dagger. You know, this, very nice play.
They're able to take down Kara. Jamari wants to keep pushing, and he does get in there onto Demon, so 2 kills. The PP, look at him. He's thinking about it. He's still got the haste for a few seconds, but if nobody's going to come to help, this is risky, but there's your Solar Guardian coming into play. Only stuns up ZXCA, though, but now Parker TP's in, but Parker TP's into the damage. Can they actually save him? No, they can't. Sonic Wave comes in, and a very rough spot to TP, too. Now the support kills really don't mean quite as much, considering they sacrificed their carry.
Yeah, just go into that fight knowing it's a effectively 3v4, and Dreamers win it. Adrian didn't look at that fight, didn't need to. He's farming top. He's having a great time on his own. BKB in only a few more 100 gold, and your team's winning fights on the other side of the map. Great. It's exactly what Dreamers want. Let them claw back some of that net worth deficit. As Demon, well, gonna get dewarded. Get the deny.
Ward's dead, just no gold for the Rubik. So, mission sort of accomplished, but Jamari, well, he wants the rune. It is going to be an Invis spawning to the north, so let's see if he can do anything with that. He did go for the Kaya Sanj build-up here, so he's a little bit more durable than you would expect from a normal Queen of Pain, and, well, that hasn't changed his playstyle much, right? He's still kind of living on the edges of these fights, waiting for his moment to jump in and pop the Sonic Wave, so if he is caught, he lasts a little bit longer, but that's no reason for Jamari to change the way that Queen of Pain works.
Yeah, and this game gets a little bit more difficult once that leash talent is online, of course, but it does just need a BKB probably after this item, or at least a shard into the BKB, because there's a lot of magic. There's a lot of disables on Ravens. You don't want to get taken down for free. Even though there's always that threat of just getting punched, but, could be worse. Could be much worse. But struggling to find a play here from Ravens. They're smoking up. They're looking for what would be Adrian, but he shows in the mid lane, and then they decide to go for a smoke. And well, let's see. Don't know. They're on a path to connect, but Raven smoke will dissipate first in this situation, but they're cutting in a little bit deeper and looking for Benjaz. Usually you'd want to gank the empty lane, look bottom for Benjaz, because that's probably the most likely space for that Dawnbreaker to occupy, but they're pinging him out. CXCA, blink to reveal, gonna break.
Avalanche to start it. Toss into Mortimer Kisses. They need to get this kill, though. Benjaz still isn't dead. Jamari is finally going to be able to get in there to finish it off, but this is getting complicated. And Jamari, you've got to blink away. Does he make it out? Toss. No, wasn't really going to do anything there, so... Well, they get Benjaz. You can't deny them that, but they did lose both of their supports in the process, so... Not the cleanest play.
Yeah, just dug out the lineup a little bit too far, and you're going on the tankiest guy. A guy who has a nether shell, has a pipe of insight, is not your easy burst kill, but he's also the best guy to go on, paradoxically, because anybody else gets Solar Guardian. So it's really tough for Dreamers to find an easy pick like that, even though that was just to catch you off guard, because that was the XDA's blink reveal, but still feels kind of unfortunate. That initiation also gets much easier once Adrian has his blink as well, so he can go in addition to the tiny combo, which I think is coming out on the courier, but that play kind of has to happen soon here. Creep pressure is back on, the lanes are getting pushed out, Parker's working on his BKB, and then he's going to fight you as bottom. Do they have any more stuns? They got the lift, but that dies. Does the XCA die, though?
Look, here comes Adrian. Does he look for the Doom? He's not going to throw it out just yet. Demon steals Frostbite. He's going to deploy it. Now Solar Guardian comes in, but Jamari able to one-up him. Throws out the Sonic Wave, and now they're going to jump onto Benjaz. There's going to be the toss play, but Benjaz, with all the healing, with all the magic that he can absorb, isn't going down quickly, but he is still going down. And Ravens decide, well, it's time to go. They TP everybody out, and Parker, well... I don't know. Parker didn't really do a whole lot in that fight. Very quickly decides, I don't want to be here, so if the Prophet's not involved, you don't really have much damage. But now Parker's got to make sure he doesn't get picked. There's going to be the toss, or the Avalanche first, rather. But do they have the damage to do this? Yeah, that's looking a little bit rough. They are going to try and spit Jamari onto the Prophet, and that will get them the last little bit of damage and lockdown they needed. But I feel like they slightly jumped the gun there. ZXA has to die, but maybe if ZXA doesn't lay his life out there, then the Prophet just sort of leaves before the rest of the lineup arrives.
Oh, now Parker's got his BKB, but that's rough. That really is. But I think Ravens as well made a honest to God mistake being up, diving a tier 2 tower without any way for the Nature's Prophet to help them out in that situation. It's crazy. It definitely is. Adrian didn't even use Doom. He is still ready and primed, looking on these side lanes for any pickoff potential. And there is quite a lot, but the smokes just keep coming. Ravens, a lot easier to initiate during that daytime, so looking for a play probably onto the Quap, even though last time they tried it didn't work out. That Sange really paying its dividends, but they'd also love to get on top of Drakeel or the support combo. Even though they see Jamari. Here we go. Round 2.
Do they have the lockdown this time? Yes, they do. Stolen Avalanche really kind of helps push them over the edge as Demon TPs himself top. They realize they've got Adrian in a pretty low health situation. Yeah, your Prophet got doomed, but he's holding his ground. They're going to be able to find the kill on his EXCA. Drakeel tries to TP away. Does the snowball hit in time? No, it does not. So Drakeel gets out. That's your good news. The bad news is you lost Quap mid, you lose a support top, you doomed for no kill, and that Doom was then stolen by Rubik.
Yep, and he's got one more Doom if he decides to be patient inside of this level 1 spell steal, but losing Roche is the much bigger problem. This will give Parker all the confidence in the world to sit behind you, to be obnoxious, and the kisses are coming. Drakeel wants to go in, and he was gonna spit his CM into the pit, but Instead, she goes on a farming adventure towards that top lane, but Raven's gaining some ground, getting a lot of momentum here. Greaves are now finished on Benjez, full BKB for the Tusk. Support duo still getting great levels, finishing up some items for themselves, but the big one is still Parker, who now with this Aegis can just farm, can just be relaxed a little bit more. Is going to buy the crit stick of his Daedalus pretty soon, and then he's going to be that big damage dealer. One where you want plate mails, you want AC, Shiva's Guard queued up on some of these Dreamers heroes, but none of that's in the works just yet. That comes down the line. That's where Parker really is becoming a beast right now. He's just getting ahead of everyone else in this game.
And, well, you'd think after the way it played out last game where this exact scenario kind of caught Dreamers off guard that they'd be trying to do more to stop it. But right now, ET, what can you do? Even if you do somehow find Parker, you have to kill him through Aegis, you have to kill him through BKB, so it's a bit of an awkward window for them. Jamari, though, Jamari has an Orchid built up here, which against some of the BKBs coming out, it feels like that timing's not as great as it could be, but it does give them something to try and maybe force this a little bit more, play some more up-tempo style with Jamari trying to find picks.
Yeah, and they'd love to do any killing bottom. Unfortunately, Benjaz is not the hero to get killed by an Orchid with. He'll just purge it off. He does not care. He's got the Greaves. He's got that easy dispel. Anybody else really is the target, but PP, look at this. He's pushing in. He's got a DD rune. His punch is gonna hurt. And they're baiting Demon, and Demon, it's the perfect bait.
555 down for the count already. That's a nice Sonic Wave, but the Greaves immediately remove the damage. So Jamari has got to blink away, but if he blinks away, yeah, Adrian, time to go as well. Pops his BKB, tries to run, blinks back up, so he should be okay. Or maybe not. Wrath of Nature flying in. Parker, this is unbelievably aggressive, but he's going to get away with it.
Ridiculous. And the Tiny, 60 is trying to close the gap, and there's just no time. Already lost the Snapfire as well, so really, worst case scenario. And all baited because the Rubik is just walking up, trying to give you that opening the Dreamers wanted to take, and they tried to take it, but there's just too much team. There's too much healing. It just ended up blowing up in their face.
I mean, the entirety of Sonic Wave was just removed instantly. It's a rough go, and 2 tier 2 towers will fall in the aftermath. I don't know if they want to test high ground. 10 seconds for the Doom to respawn, but yeah. Ravens aside, let's not push our luck. They did use a lot of their abilities in that last fight, so it makes sense to pull it back, get the outpost, take control of the map, and maybe get another push going, because the Aegis still has over a minute and a half, so you don't have to be in too big of a rush. Although, as I say that, here comes Parker, looking to just kill off some supports. 555, already dead. ZXCA, run for your life. Jamari, though, does jump in. Silence deployed onto Demon, so they do find that kill, but Parker, he wants to engage. He pops his BKB. He's getting the damage in onto Adrian, catches him with the Sprout. Defensive Cookie, though, allowing him to reposition, but while they do that, ZXCA has to be the sacrificial lamb. Keeps the rest of Ravens occupied. The Dreamers do fall back, but you lost both of your supports. One of them bought back as the Crystal Maiden's net worth gets even lower than it already was. And they're not in a better position after the buybacks here. They're still kind of weak, although they are going to try and jump in onto Benjaz. Do they have the damage? Yes, they do. Sonic Wave this time comes in at full effect, but Trakeel just caught out, taken down. 555 now in trouble as well. The Walrus Punch doesn't hit, but they don't need it. Parker's there for the damage. And Dreamers, I mean, it was a nice play, right? They get onto Benjaz, they take him down, but nothing that they do right now feels like it is in a vacuum. It always comes in the context of Ravens responding.
No, they just are consistently too quick. It's still in the dark. Adrian hasn't felt confident in getting any dooms off in any of these fights, but it's just not working. That was also incredibly close on the Dawnbreaker. If he gets Greaves off, you die. Dreamer's entire lineup dies because they're way in over their head. And this is all before Parker has that lovely 20 talent that is just going to turn him into an even more problematic hero. And I don't even know what he's going for. He's just got a Hyperstone in his inventory right now. It looks like he's got a Moon Shard because he just wants attack speed at this stage of the game. And I kind of agree with him. He is just a turret. He does not care. Maybe he'll want a Satanic eventually, but this is everything. And we'll have to see what Roche looks at like for us, but this does not look like it's going to favor Dreamers anytime soon. And they've got these armor items queued up. The Shias and the AC are in the works here for Adrian Jamari. But again, after an Octarine core, after another item, after buyback, there's just no way to confidently take a team fight, even though they're trying to abuse the fact that Aegis has just been reclaimed. They're trying to catch Ravens right now on a mistake. And it looks like Demon will be the cost here, even though they're fighting. Okay, here comes Benjaz, but
Yeah, the rest of the team didn't really look like they were on the same page, but they are pushing their way in now. PP directly onto the back line, looking to take out 5v5 first. Gets that first kill. Now they're going to try and turn their attention onto both Drakeel and ZXCA, but on the other side of the fight, Adrian, he's okay for now, but he's going to need backup soon because Demon makes the move. Blinks in, that's going to force the BKB, and Adrian will not make it home. Walrus Punch cancels that TP, and you can't do that. You can't split up that fast, otherwise PP is just going to absolutely feast on your backline, and well, once the backline's gone, your front line is Drakeel on a snap and a Queen of Pain who's more durable than usual with the Kaya Sanj, but never really tanky.
yeah, and Parker found the Quap. I think you can still deal with the Sprout leashing talent just because Doom has a Quelling Blade, but it's where we have a 4-staff check here. You're trying to build it up on ZXCA, but there's not enough gold for him. You just die. As soon as the Quap shows in the fight, you get TP'd on by Parker. It's all he was waiting for, and you just get killed 100-0. And while Moonshard gaming, Parker's just looking to hit, and hitting he shall do. Glyph's now been forced. This is Doomsday. You have to kick them out now, or at least try to get some return kills. But more importantly, and most importantly, Adrian's got to find a Doom. He's got to find a target. Somebody, PP, not Benjaz probably, because he just doesn't care, but he's got to settle for a core and then just make sure that core dies, because right now, nothing's happening.
Demon, what do you... Oh. He's faking out a War Stomp. That's... Okay, we're going to move the camera somewhere else, because that noise is not fun, but... Well, now Demon has an extra stun to work with, so... It was already kind of rough dealing with the lockdown that Ravens have. It's going to get even harder for them, but Dreamers, they got to do something, or at least they feel that way, ET. They smoke up as 5, but now... TP is the only hero this could possibly hit, and he's already TPing out.
The Tusk evades. Ravens look like they are the ones that want to smoke now, even though I don't think they have one. Okay, Carr has one on his body, but I think they are out of smokes after they used this last one, but everybody is sitting in positions to break said smokes, to look for positions. It's why Carr is just in the river right now, sitting next to this tree. Parker is the sketchiest one. And does Parker really just TP in bottom? Well, he is here. Hey, buddy.
Able to find one kill, and now he'll leave. Okay, why not? Why not? I mean, that just shows you how untouchable he feels, right? He just TP'd into 3 heroes, killed one, and then walked away.
What a jerk. Like, yeah, I just see him just in between a Snapfire and a Queen of Pain, and then he's like, yeah, I guess I'm dead. Sucks to be me.
Snipes the courier too.
Nothing on it, thankfully. But Jamari also got to spend his gold. He's sitting on 5k right now. Again, a portion of that is certainly for buyout, but progression needs to be made. And Demon, okay, thought he blinked forward for a second, but the Rubik, very scary. And Warstop is a scary spell to have stolen. First 2-second stun, buffed up by the stolen spell. It's like a 2.2-second stun. That's pretty darn nice.
Yeah, he is starting to run out of time on it, though, so... Don't really think he's just gonna bum rush in just for the sake of using his stun, but if something comes his way, not gonna be too shy. But there's really no one hanging out alone. He doesn't have the backup to just push for a full-on teamfight engagement, so... Just decide to play it safe, but that means we will finally see some of these items coming out. Jamari's got the Shivas up and running, so... A little bit more contribution in these fights. A little bit harder to kill as well, right? Talked about the Kaya Sanj earlier. Now with the armor from the Shivas, hopefully you'll last a little bit longer. But on the damage front, I don't know. The Queen of Pain is feeling like she's starting to drop off here over these last couple of fights, especially considering just how much in the way of defensive items that Ravens have. Just the healing, the damage absorption. It's getting rough for Jamari.
Yeah, at least Jamari gets the Shiva's guard, so a little bit less vulnerable as Benjaz. Okay, great Lotus Orb, though. He can't get doomed. This is going to delay out this kill, and Benjaz gets everything off now. Watch the fight. It's falling up.
Sonic Wave is going to be deployed, but now PP's in. There's going to be the Solar Guardian as well, so they're turning onto Adrian. Are they able to bring him down? Yes, they are. Adrian falls. Parker does end up dying there, though, as he tried to TP onto that back line, but that may not really matter. They've still got the damage to keep going, and Jamari, we said he's a little bit more durable, and he certainly was, but it's still not enough to go diving the tower, and now his teammates, oh, they followed him into battle, ET, but the lead hero falls, and the rest of them really just don't have a game plan beyond that point. 4 dead for Parker, and while that was happening, the creep wave actually took care of the ranged racks top too, so Ravens really get everything that they want out of that.
Yeah, and even though, you know, kind of died off screen there, kind of got chained up, didn't get BKB off on that Nature's Prophet, it doesn't matter. PP does so much physical damage in addition to the Nature's Prophet. He's got a Deso. He's got almost a full AC. He's got another DD rune. He is just a menace. And look at this. 555 set up on in his own base. Demon closes the gap, gets frostbitten, gives it over to Demon. Just rough stuff. And Glyph will be back up. So that's something to look forward to, I suppose. And Dreamers, with their respawning heroes, should be able to kick out Ravens. But there's also just constantly that pickoff potential and that pickoff threat. And there's a better objective. Ravens scout out the Roche. Gonna pop the DD. 10 seconds for his Nature's Prophet to respawn, but he was just doing it by himself.
Getting in there, smacking up Roche as best as he can. And if your Dreamers, is there anything you can do? You do have a spit out play if you suspect this Roche attempt is happening right this very second. But I think they're a little bit too slow to react. Aegis into the hands of Parker. The Shard went over to the Dawnbreaker, so got yourself that Starbreaker upgrade, and now Dreamers feeling a little bit defensive here. Falling back onto their own side, or into their own base, and they'll just see if they can hold their high ground.
Yeah, even though, look at this. The trees, they sprout, but this is just to distract them. As the initiation, it doesn't come through. BP decides to be a little bit more calm, but Adrian, okay, goes. Found it.
Big initiation now, though. Can they get out safely? Rubik using the stolen Mortimer Kisses. That is doing a fair bit of damage over to ZXCA, so they will lose 1. No buyback on that Tiny. But without PP, a lot of Ravens damage is missing, but not all of it. They're still pushing their way forward. Ranged racks finished off mid. Melee soon to follow. Or maybe not. We're going to pop the Glyph. I think this just delays, though. It can't really stop it because Parker's still here, still hitting. Jamari, okay. Jamari all the way out to the back line, but he's going to get leashed up. Now he's caught by the Starbreaker. Can he survive? Well, he can if his teammate's literally going to eat him and spit him back out. So, you do manage to save your Queen of Pain, but now what can Jamari do? He's got to heal up before he can go back in, and his teammates are stuck in the engagement. Adrian is gonna get caught by the Sprout, taking too much damage. He'll go down with no buyback available, and I don't know. I'm not sure what the communication was like there, but it looked like Jamari went in when his teammates weren't immediately ready to follow it up.
No, they kind of just send it. They say, okay, let's go. The Tiny was still respawning during that time. Just felt like some desperation to maybe keep the racks alive. But he forces Doom to go without his BKB. And okay, Demon goes down. Kara would be another great pick. They're trying to work for it, but gotta kite Parker. The double Moonshard Nature's Prophet that's walking over and is about to chew through you. Gotta keep running from this man.
He is so damn slow with the Nova on him. Eventually, though, he is going to find his targets. Hitting up onto ZXCA, or maybe not. The Avalanche keeps him at arm's length, but look at PP jumping in, able to get off that punch. So ZXCA does go down, buys back immediately because they need to be able to protect the Queen of Pain here, but they can't actually save her. Jamari goes down. 555 will die in his fountain. And Parker, he's just looking to pad his stats a little bit there. Picked up 2. Aegis is going to get him back up. Does he actually have the move speed to get out of the fountain? No, he doesn't, so he buys a Ghost Scepter. And that does get him away safely. Mega's acquired. Adrian's just going to give it one last attempt here, but his Infernal Blade hits a creep, not a hero. And he is stuck in the middle of the fight. Parker TP's back in, gets the leash, gets the damage. Adrian will fall. Demon is going to get killed off as Drakeel sticks around for that one, but he knows it's a suicidal play. Drakeel will fall, GG called, and Ravens will complete a very important 2-0 sweep, as now we've got 2 players dropping mantles in the fountain.
It's amazing to see the effect that Parker will have on his teammates, but no, in super important win, they've just jumped up, knocked Dreamers down to that lowest position that is still kind of on the edge, kind of on that bubble. Dreamers really need that win still, and that win is going to come at the absolute end. It is our final game of phase 2, so Dreamers are going to be waiting with bated breath up until that point. They've got another matchup with Infinity tomorrow, but this is just not what Dreamers expected to come out. Of course, BM aside, I think really game 1 showed an absolute kind of falling through of Dreamers, just everything. Just their draft, they're playing, it all kind of locked up. ZXCA and 555 tried their best, but the rest of the lineup just wasn't really able to play Dota. But in game 2, I think you just need to figure out a better way to deal with this Nature's Prophet. This just felt like very little commitment from Parker. He kind of just got to do his own thing the entire game. He was feeding a little bit here or there. He was dying. He was not able to TP in and do the most in every team fight. But that's where the rest of Raven's lineup is just crafted to survive, to outlast you, to live longer, to have better team fight. And it just works, as well as I think propelled forward by a fantastic performance from PP Tusk.
12-4 and 22, looked good, played efficiently, and yeah, not a lot of pressure that could be applied to the cores. I mean, Benjaz did get hit up a little bit, as you were sort of mentioning, but that was his job. He knew what he was doing. He went for the utility build, so it didn't really matter in the end. And for Dreamers, they looked better in this game compared to game 1. We'll give them that much, but maybe don't let Parker play Nature's Prophet anymore. That might be the lesson to be learned here.
Yeah, kind of like starting to feel like a TA for him. It's just when Parker gets on these safe lane heroes that aren't really traditional, old, bad safe lane heroes. They're just these wild cross map, farm everything, take everything. I mean, Parker stole everybody's home. Like, he's robbing his teammates too. It's not just the opponents, it's not just the creeps. He's taken from everybody. And it just works. It's the Parker style. It's good to see. He's back to form. He's really propelling Ravens forward. And I think they're just happy to have another carry back in the lineup.
Looking pretty good here. And now we are done for the day in terms of the games. But ET, before we hop out of here, do want to let the folks take a look at what should be our up-to-date group stage standings. I apologize if it's not, but I am pretty sure this reflects where we're standing now. You can see at the top there, 5-Rat, 4-Staff, and Thunder Awaken. Each come out of today with 1 point, but those 1 points, that sounds wrong, but whatever. Those points that they were able to pick up should propel them into the playoffs. As we mentioned earlier, we had our math people get on it, and while it would trigger a tiebreaker, still technically they should win those tiebreakers in pretty much every scenario. So they are through to the playoffs. If that's wrong, we'll give you an update later, but for now, they are the first 2 through. But we kind of knew that was going to happen, right? 5-Rat and Thunder Awaken each needed to win like 1 or 2 more games across the next 3 days. What's really interesting, ET, is the rest of the bracket. Infinity now sitting on 6 wins. Ravens with this 2-0 are now tied with them at 6 wins. Dreamers stay put, no points today, so they're sitting at 5, and then Alliance and No Runes have 4, Wildcard have 3. So, clearly some teams are in better positions than others, but still, nobody is locked out just yet.
No, there is still movement. There is still a way for these teams to reach into those top 5. It's only getting closer, and that's where if you, look over on Wikipedia and you take a look, all of those 1-1s, the C, it starts to become apparent why we have so many teams on that outer bubble. Everybody just dropping a game here or there. Nobody going winless or winning out, and no team taking every single L either. There is just always going to be a competitive game. I think the easiest call you could make is that wild card, at least by the outset here, has the toughest path of any team so far. They have to not only 2-0 their next series, but then hope that there's some misfortune there for the rest of the teams. But that's where you just got to keep watching. The next few days, nobody is out just yet.
Yep, everybody's still in the running. That is what is most important here. But we are done for today. We will be back, though, tomorrow afternoon for another set of best of twos. We've got Thunder Awaken versus Alliance Latam. Follow that up with Infinity versus this Dreamers Esports squad. And then we close out the day with Wildcard taking on Ravens. So everyone other than Thunder Awaken in that lineup still doesn't know where they're going to be, ET. So there's a whole hell of a lot at stake for tomorrow's games.
Yep, we just gotta wait and see, and then hope that something interesting happens and nobody is guaranteed out, because that's when things get boring. Because everybody being in still, that's way more fun.
But yeah, we're coming up on the last couple of days here, and it's still a nice race. So that's always good. But for now, we are going to hop on out of here. 3 more best of twos in the books. So thank you all so much for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the Dota. Hope you come back tomorrow afternoon. Do want to point out before we go, we are moving the start time up a little bit for tomorrow. It is going to be 12 p.m. Pacific time, I believe. So I know the start times are kind of jumping around a little bit. Apologies for that, but we will try to communicate those start times to you whenever we possibly can. So 12 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. Hope you join us. Until then, though, thank you all so much. Enjoy the rest of your night.